morning, Flosstube. It is October 1st, and I'm so glad to be back to talk with you today. So much to share. October 1st is a special date for me. It is the birthday of my maternal grandmother, who was very, very special to me. All of my grandparents were very special to me, but my maternal grandmother was like a second mother and taught me many of the domestic things that I know. And today is her birthday. So I always look forward to October 1st to remember her and to be thankful for all the things she shared with me. So we, at the end of this video, are going to have a giveaway for the 1-year Flosstube anniversary, and we'll talk about that at the very end. So if you're not interested in that, we'll get everything else done and then we'll talk about that. Also, there will be a short update on books that we talked about at the end as well. So let's get into cross stitch. I hope you are doing well. If you are returning, thank you for coming back. If you are new, please sit down, get comfortable, and I hope you'll learn something or have some fun or just relax a little bit. We all share this delightful craft, and it makes for a kind and welcoming community, which I appreciate. So we have a finish today, albeit tiny, tiny finish, and I'm just excited to show that to you. It is my Victorian Thistles pincushion, which was a gift that came back from the Great British Isles from my husband and daughter. And this tiny little piece, let me see what I can put behind it, was just the most fun purse stitch ever. I had planned to make it into a small pillow and maybe hang it from one of the cabinets in our living area, but my husband really wants to frame it. He has envisioned this with our other Scottish tiny buildings that I'm going to be stitching. So we'll see what we decide. I even bought lavender fabric for the pillow, but he and I will decide if we can find a frame that suits us. It will be in a grouping in the living area. I don't normally pick purples and lavenders. I have a daughter who loves purples and lavenders, but isn't this exquisite with those greens? So a tiny 18 count Aida, stitches smaller than you would think, 2 over 1, but just a very lovely stitch. So one down of my tiny, tiny kits. I love it. You know that I was supposed to have finished my son's St. Paul's Cathedral for his birthday, and I am embarrassed to say that that piece is not finished and his birthday has passed. I would love to make an excuse, but I cannot. It is close, but it is not finished. So I'm going to pull it back out, people. I love my son dearly, so it is not that. What happened as I got to the end of the project was that I had not separated the threads. I had been lazy and just left them in the little bag they came in, and I was just pulling colors. Well, now that I'm at the end, I'm having trouble finding which color I need to complete those last stitches. So it's called Get Organized or Pay Later. That's my new mantra, get organized. So hopefully next time I will have that finished to show you. It is also one that we want to frame for him so that he will have those fond memories of his time in London and his time at Evensong in that beautiful cathedral. Okay, since everyone else seems to be doing either Halloween or fall stitching or Christmas stitching, I thought I would pull out a piece that I need to be finishing for Christmas, and this would be the closest one I would have to a finish, and I know you all so well that you will root me on as I try to finish this project, because it would be gorgeous for our Christmas decorations framed in a beautiful gold frame. So let me show you. This is a lavender and lace free angel. This is done on linen, and I'm so close, but again, not finished. One wing has a lot to go. The other, I think, is complete. But she's so beautiful. And this is the one my daughter stitched the companion angel for. She is dressed in red. And she and I have both said we would like to do each other's angels. But I have to finish mine first. Hers is completed and I think already framed. For some reason lately, I keep seeing lavender and lace, told in a garden, and butternut road pieces being stitched on YouTube. And I have always loved the work of that beautiful artist. I know her first name is Marilyn, and it is a hyphenated last name. Levitt Emblem, is that correct? You all know lavender and lace. So this will give me a chance to do something of hers and have it completed so that maybe I can work on another one of her beautiful pieces. I'm not sure, but I think this angel's face and the way her hair color is so beautifully blended, she just is a favorite. So I pulled her out. I'm going to try to get her threads better organized and put her in when I can. So beautiful. So since I had enjoyed seeing so many of the lavender and lace and other pieces done, I got on eBay and was looking at what was available of these pieces. I don't know how long they'll be out. I know the beautiful creator has passed away several years ago, many years ago, but I never see this one stitched and I fell in love with it. Excuse the glare. It is called Lady in Thread, Lady of the Thread. And if you can see, she is stitching and she is surrounded by beautiful fruit and a butterfly and flowers. And her dress, as always for these patterns, is just gorgeous. I do not think I would do her on black. Knowing me, I would get a beautiful blue or pale gray. I'm not sure. But I was able to acquire this from eBay for a really good price. And so I've added her to my lavender and lace collection. This would be fall stitching right here, but my plate is so full, I will not start her. I cannot. But I'm so thrilled to have her, and someday I will stitch this lovely lady. Whether I will change her hair color or anything else, I doubt I will, because this could easily be one of my daughters with the darker hair. But isn't she beautiful? Lady of the Thread. Now, the baby that has kept me so busy is my Mary Queen of Scots sampler. And if I had had the time away from work and without other responsibilities, I honestly think this would have been finished. It is extremely hard to put down. This is by Papillon Creations. And I had a listener ask me about this sampler and more history or detail about it. I hope to have more to tell you about this as my videos go on, but I do want to give you a few bits of information for anyone who might be interested. Can you see that? I don't know which side is easier. This is not a sampler that Mary stitched herself. She did not stitch this. This was created by Papillon Creations, and it was designed to represent the time that Mary, Queen of Scots, spent in the French court before she was sent back to Scotland. Her history is a fascinating one, and I'm actually rereading Mary, Queen of Scots by Antonia Fraser. as is, I believe, the Distracted Stitcher and a British Flosstuber, Luby's Lot. So they're ahead of me, but I've pulled out my old copy and I'm trying to read. So the alphabet design is the French elaborate letter design. Then you see here the unicorn. And then this is to, excuse me, represent Mary. You see the fleur-de-lis here, which is the French emblem. Then here you see the Scottish thistle. And on this side would be the beautiful French palace. And in contrast, the cold and drafty Scottish castle. Now, down here we have the phoenix bird on both sides. And then the famous quote, which I have shown you before, "In my end is my beginning." She was famous for that. So that gives you a little more background on this sampler. And you can see why we would be so excited to find this and have it stitched. So let me show you how far I have gotten. I really had hoped I would not film until I had finished Mary herself. But I had a little frogging last night, so the skirt did not even get finished. I had hoped she would be. So this is Mary's skirt. This is where I had to frog, and of course up here will be her bodice and her head and crown. No, she's not wearing a crown. She's actually holding a falcon because she was a huntress. Then you see my wonderful unicorn. Oh, I'm telling you guys, he was so much fun to stitch. And then the fleur-de-lis is complete. That medallion in the center below the crown obviously is not finished. I skipped a lot of that to get over to my unicorn. And then my husband said, well, you have to do Mary now that you've done the unicorn. But then you see the crown, and I've shown you the garland before. That will go all the way across. And I've only done one letter, the letter Y, because that was my center starting point. I'm doing this on 36 count linen, 2/2. The 1/2 just did not give the coverage I wanted, especially in this red. I wanted a deep, rich coverage. And just to remind you of the size of this piece, although I do have a lot of margins, a lot of borders, but it is going to be very large. As I told you, this is Edinburgh linen. I'm not sure of the colorway. Oh, yes, I do. It is cream/ivory right there in front of me. And I'm really in love with this linen. Of course, I paid a lot for it, but beautiful, beautiful to work with. I have not asked permission from my friend Mary Cat Stitches. You need to check out her Flosstube. I've given her a shout out before. But Mary, if you'll forgive me for sharing your stitchy kindness, next time I will ask permission. She had seen my video where I talked about our love of Scottish and British things, and she sent me a message. I have a beautiful Scottish sampler in one of my magazines. I'm not going to stitch this. Would you like it? And I said, of course, thank you so much. Well, it wasn't 2 days later after we exchanged information that I received in the mail from Just Cross Stitch. Yes, Just Cross Stitch, the newest issue, October 2018. This amazing Scottish design. I am so sorry if you are hearing Roxy whine in the background. I may have to pause this and go let her out, as usual. Anyway, this sampler was, let's see, reproduced from an 1837 sampler that was stitched in southern Scotland. And the young lady who stitched it was actually 19 years old. I love the dogs at the bottom. Well, I actually love everything about this sampler. So they do give a good little history. And then this, I just loved this. This is the original sampler. Is that not amazing to see how they've reproduced that? I just love it. So I want to read it more carefully, and I will share more with you if I do decide to start this one at some point. I'm just thrilled. Mary, thank you so much. What a thoughtful person you are. Then she also sent, because she thought I would enjoy it, two other patterns. This one is called Partridge and Pomegranates. But look at those blues. And the bird and the pomegranates. Now this may have to be a pillow. I can just see this hanging at a certain place in my home. So this has to come out. Maybe after the Christmas holidays. Just love that so much. And I'm not sure. This was designed by someone I could never pronounce. Evdokia Nikolaeva. Oh, it's just beautiful. And then this one, I think, is my husband's favorite. The Blue Flowers sampler. Have you ever? Well, if I live to be 200, I have so much I want to stitch. So 3 patterns from my dear friend Mary at Mary Cat Stitches. Thank you for that generosity and for knowing what I would like. Bless you. Let me go let this animal out. I shall be right back. If I were writing a letter to you, I would be saying at this point, P.S. I forgot to tell you my final review of the Chillsbury Ladies Choir, which I had been reading and have now finished. If this is something you might be interested in, I highly recommend that you pick it up. 5 stars from me. I read the first third of the book, then I listened to the rest of it with the audiobook, which is beautifully done. One of my daughters recommended that audiobook to me. World War II historical fiction, but it is based on letters or diary entries, I believe, by the author's distant relative. I wish I could be more specific. Sometimes my brain is just too full of information. I can't retrieve what I want. But the Chillsbury Ladies Choir, go for it if you like historical fiction and you like to read. Parts of it are a little gritty for me, but I was able to move through those and enjoy the book as a whole. Also, I just finished, and I wanted to show you this image because it'll help you look for it. Meet Me at the Museum. And this is by Anne Youngston. Is that Youngson? Youngson. Anne Youngson. Meet Me at the Museum. This is a very short book. It is written in the same style, and oh, I need this word. It means letters, writing letters back and forth. It's in that style. Very short, not anything like I expected, but I enjoyed it very much. Again, I listened to the audiobook, which was very well done, and it's one of those unforgettable books, I believe. I think it is going to be a significant one. Okay, here's my word. Epistolary. Sorry, guys. It's in the epistolary style. It's a literary work in the form of letters, which the Chillsbury Ladies Choir also was. So there's my PS. Pick up either one of those 2 books, both if you can. Chillsbury will be a little more of an investment time-wise. Meet Me at the Museum, very short. Very thought-provoking, not what I expected, but Highly recommend both. Again, take care. See you soon. Bye.